Testing, testing. 1 million, 2 million.
5 million, can you hear me?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Man, that intro feels like it gets longer and longer every time. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another exciting episode of the Business Breakdown Podcast. Today, we've got a heavyweight in the world of business acquisitions joining us, Rodney Dawson. Rodney is a seasoned deal scout specialist with a knack for helping entrepreneurs and investors buy, grow, and sell businesses in the $1 to $5 million range. He's also in the music industry, which is pretty cool. And in this episode, we're diving into the art and science of business acquisitions. Honestly, we might get off topic a little bit. Anyways, Rodney will be sharing his wealth of knowledge on everything from business valuations and due diligence to deal structuring and negotiation. We'll also be exploring the often overlooked and crucial aspect of seller financing, which is a huge game changer in these transactions. That's not all. His expertise extends far beyond just closing the deal. We're tapping into insights on post acquisition, integration, and growth strategies because let's face it, buying a business is just the beginning of the journey. A quick intro and word from our sponsors. Finance for Individuals in Business began with a vision, a community where like minded individuals could gather and share their passions, experiences, and knowledge for a brighter future. Our mission is simple to foster growth, development, and keep pushing everyone forward. We believe everyone has the potential to succeed, and we're here to support that journey. Join our community of leaders and visionaries as we learn, grow, and build a brighter future together. For those on YouTube and other platforms, this podcast originally started as a Facebook group, and we're going to be keeping it here. Join our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/finance for individuals and businesses. We'll see you there. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur looking to make your first business acquisition, an investor seeking to diversify your portfolio, or a business owner simply considering your exit strategy, Rodney's insights are definitely going to help you get there. All right, let's bring Rodney on. Rodney, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, thanks for having me on. First
Yeah,
thing, thunder
yeah,
up,
man.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, go Mavs for sure. It was a good series, man. I
Man,
knew
it was fun. You guys are good, man.
Yeah, we had a pretty good little team. There's been a lot of off season movement. It's been pretty interesting for sure. I think this next season is going to be good. But yeah, no, we definitely have to catch a game. Either you come down here or I'll come up there. We'll figure it out for sure.
Absolutely, man. It's going to be great. You got Clay Thompson. It's going to be fun this year.
It's going to be wild. It's going to be wild for sure. Yeah, I never saw that one coming.
I
I
didn't either.
you could have told me 2 months prior or maybe even a month prior, and I would have been like, yeah, there's no way.
I
There's no
know.
way.
His dad
Uh,
was trying to get him to go to LA.
oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that
his
part.
dad said it was like 90% done. And then at the last minute, he was like, no, I'm going to go to Dallas.
Wow, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew that the Lakers were competing in that, so it was interesting to see and pretty cool that he ended up here at the Dallas Mavericks. Really hoping that he adds a lot of value, and I'm sure he will. And then
Definitely
even
will.
his expertise and experience of going and being in the playoffs and being around all these Hall of Famers that are just some of the greatest that ever played the game. So
Yeah,
I
and he gets
think,
to play with the future Hall of Famer and Luca. I mean, golly,
yeah.
that his
And
track
then,
record is crazy.
yeah. And with Kyrie helping out, giving a little bit more experience and kind of being kind of a father figure, but
Yeah,
it's cool to see that dynamic, especially before they were even on the same team together. They were already getting good chemistry at like the All-Star games and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, it's definitely going to be pretty good. But man, what makes Rodney Rodney? So
yeah. Go ahead.
I want people to hear, man. So the first industry you mastered, did you get into music? It was music, right?
It was energy for, well, let's just say both at the same time. That's
Okay.
pretty much how it happened. I just worked those two industries for about 10 to 15 years. 15 years in the energy business and 12 years in the music business.
hmm
And so
What?
I just kind of worked side by side in both industries.
Did they ever play a part with each other, or were they pretty much separate?
Separate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I would think. What'd you do in the oil and gas?
I was a landman.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
landman in the oil and gas industry. Went through all over Oklahoma.
Permian
Just
Basin.
working. Yeah, there you go. You know
Yeah,
it.
I
Working there
I
and
have some property in West Texas.
do
I
you?
I, I know about oil. Yeah,
Yeah, you do. Yeah,
not like I don't got that oil money, but yeah, I'm very familiar with it.
yeah.
Um, there's I know a handful of very wealthy people in West Texas. It's a different culture. Oil people are a different culture.
Definitely.
Um, very respectable. They keep to themselves for sure. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
definitely
you wouldn't even know how much that they act kind of like nonchalant, like they haven't done anything.
yeah, yeah. There's yeah, you just wouldn't know. It's a lot of them are pretty humble, even though the a handful of them can be boisterous because they're just confident. I mean, the being in that industry, especially doing like if you're a roughneck and having to deal with all that stuff, I'd be pretty confident too, especially being in shape and all that stuff. It's and getting paid well to do it, and only doing it for maybe 6 months out of the year, and then
Right.
relaxing and
Yeah,
hanging out the rest of the year. I mean,
that's right.
it's a pretty sweet gig. It's a pretty sweet gig. I knew a handful of roughnecks who went and blew their money though the second they got off the job. So they
Yeah, yeah.
bought some boats and lost some boats, and
Boats
that's
and hose
yeah, that's it'll do it. It'll do it for sure.
and bottles.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Drugs too. Drugs get in there, but pretty
Yeah,
much the kind of entertainment that you would expect
yeah.
from blue collar.
Roughnecks, blue collar. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But it's not always a bad thing. There's a lot of passion and fire there. I think
There is.
they're really good people. But the music industry,
Mhm.
where or let me go back. You're a landman for where at?
15 years in Oklahoma. Just
Just all around
yeah,
Oklahoma?
yeah. I was pretty much working in all of Oklahoma.
Okay.
South, north, east. I mean, anywhere you can think of. Sometimes I would go to Texas. Sometimes I would go to Kansas every now and then.
Okay.
That's about as far as I went. Yeah.
What what part of Texas were you in?
Um, Cleburne, Texas.
Okay.
Um,
That's just
and
south of
I
me.
don't remember the name of the other county because it's been 6 or 7 years, but it was right inside, kind of Denton area.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it, but it's a little small town.
Yeah.
But
There's
that's it.
yeah,
Cleburne,
there's a
Texas, and that's small. They didn't even sell alcohol there.
yeah, Dry County. How long ago was that?
Cleburne, Texas was probably in 2012.
Damn. And they were dry then?
Yeah,
Wow. I don't I wonder if they're still dry.
I don't know.
I have no idea. But it wouldn't surprise me. It wasn't only until like kind of recently that there's some towns around West Texas that I'm familiar with that are no longer as dry as they used to be. Now they have alcohol drive-throughs. Um, so
Wow, I like that.
it's kind
That's,
of a switch, but I think that all kind of happened with COVID. I'm sure
yeah,
that was a catalyst for a lot because alcohol sales went through the roof, and not a bad gig to be in. Not a bad gig to be in.
not at all.
With the music industry, how did that start? What got you into music? So okay, first off, genre of music. What's like your your your
Yeah,
thing? Like
hip hop. It's what I grew up around. I
okay,
pretty much just been listening to hip hop, and I like all the old school stuff like Michael Jackson, Prince. You know, that's
hell
not hip
yeah,
hop. But what I'm saying is separate from hip hop. It's like Michael Jackson, Prince, and it's I'm pretty. I'm a snob when it comes to that kind of music. I don't listen to a whole bunch of different kind of music. So I either have the R&B side or I like the hip hop side.
hmm
There's some cool country songs out there. Really not my genre, but there's some cool songs out there though.
they're
But
probably by
um,
George Strait.
I kind of grew up in like an area where I was introduced to hip hop when I was young. I
Same.
come from a very diverse background. We had to go through metal detectors to go to school.
Yeah.
So yeah, the gang and the drug culture was big where I was from. So um, I kind of was introduced to it, and it's been in my DNA since I was a kid, since I was a
Mhm.
teenager, pretty much. And so
Were
yeah,
you the were you the minority at your school?
yeah, yeah, it was close. I would say we were probably about 30%, and the rest was Chinese or the Asians and the blacks and Mexicans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we were the minority.
The my upbringing was middle class.
Hmm.
My middle school and
Same.
high school, it was mainly white. But the thing is, like right after school, I'd be going to boxing. And boxing, I was pretty much the only white boy in that gym for a very long time, and I got my ass kicked a lot.
Yeah,
In a good way, in a good way.
yeah,
But hearing that music, being around the culture, and yeah, it's cool. It's
yeah.
cool.
It is.
I've always that's where I started listening to hip hop. That's where I started listening to stuff like Most 50 Cent, you know, of
Mm,
course Eminem, the mainstream stuff, E40 here and there.
yeah,
I honestly I like any kind of music. I've played a couple instruments, piano, drums, you know, that kind of stuff. Um, and it's yeah, I've always liked music. If I could hear a beat, hear a music, or hear a beat or hear a lyric, I think it's there's just a lot of talent out there, and music really um, I think it brings a lot of the world together.
yeah. It does.
Even if you're like in a completely different country,
Oh yeah,
completely different language, like um, there's so many songs that go viral from other countries that not necessarily unite the world, but unite people in groups that you wouldn't expect. Um, but it's cool. It's cool. Music's
definitely. I've
awesome.
seen videos online of like in Germany, Amsterdam, and I mean it's wild. The concerts are crazy.
So, getting into like hip hop and all that stuff, how did you get into the actual music
Yeah,
industry? How were you
it's a
around it? Was it like producers or?
yeah. Here, so I'll just give you a kind of a short breakdown of it. This was probably about 20 years ago, but I had a buddy I used to work with named Lamar L. Smooth Mensa. You may have seen him on my profile.
Oh
Sometimes I'll
yeah.
promote him on my profile, but we worked together. And so when we worked together, we always listened to the same like song, same artist. And so then eventually we were like, well, back then they still made CDs. So we would just exchange CDs all the time to each other. Well, have you heard this album? Have you heard this album? Whatever. And so, but he rapped too, and I really didn't know it, but he rapped. But we used to go to the club sometimes after work, and he would rap in the car freestyle. And I was just like, wow. I was like, dude, you're pretty good. And I go, you just do that for half-assing it? He said, yeah, I love rap, I love hip hop. We're always talking music and everything. And so he kept kind of doing that. And then finally, I was like, well, we got to find a studio to get you, a professional studio to get you in. And he's like, okay, well, I'll try to find something here in the city. Well, eventually he found something, and the producer and the engineer and the studio was a legendary guy, Spire the Wise musician here in Oklahoma City. Just
Hmm.
he got introduced to him on kind of on accident, and so they put a mixtape together for shits and giggles, and everyone loved it. And we were like, "Damn, you hadn't even done this before, and it sounds this good, and you sound this good on it." And we're like, "He'd never even done it before." And so he's just a natural.
Yeah.
And so basically, I said, "Hey, well, if you ever, want help as a promoter or something like that, that'd be cool." So it started out me just kind of promoting him. We were just promoting in the streets and promoting online and whatever. And dude, it kind of took off slowly but surely. And eventually we did song. I'm kind of just skipping forward, but we did songs
Yeah.
with MC Eiht. I helped get him with MC Eiht. I helped him get with Rick Ross. I helped him get with Graf, which Graf is on tour with Joyner Lucas right now. And so I helped kind of put those songs together for them, and then he did some shows with them, and so basically, I mean, we had to deal with Universal, like I was kind of telling you before, and
Yeah.
um, we
How'd
were
that happen?
just me online.
Yeah. The
Just yeah,
Universal just a rep saw you, or
yeah. One of the reps found me on Instagram, and they were like sending me all this like paperwork over, and they were like, "Hey, we really like y'all's stuff, and plus y'all look, you already have management in place." And they're like, "We're a management team. We have a management marketing team here in New York." And I was like, "Okay." And so we got to know them pretty well, and they gave us a 6 month deal. Um, but
nice.
but the deal was is that um, like we were talking before, it the way the deal was structured is basically I didn't want to sign a contract where I gave up all my rights, or
Right.
Smooth gave up all his rights to the to Universal. So they're like, well, why don't we just do this independently? You pay our team, which is what we did. But the thing is and they did a great job. But the problem was is that eventually that bill keeps coming in, and so if you're not on tour, making lots of money on tour, lots of money on merchandise, it's hard to keep just forking out that bill every month. And so
Right.
we just told them that we couldn't do it right now because forking out that bill to pay your team every month. It's like, well, we had a business, we had a music
Right.
business,
Right.
and so we just couldn't keep afford to paying everybody. And it was always going to be a recurring bill until and we didn't have enough coming in. And so, but basically, we've done lots of legendary shows. We've done Slum Village. I mean, I could go on all day long, but we're it's almost there. But I think he's got his Oven Door song has like 200,000 streams on Spotify.
Hmm.
That's his most popular one, which is what Universal helped work for us. But yeah, so that's how I got in. I just knew him from work, and he liked my work ethic. We both knew music. We knew kind of the culture. Or I mean, I knew the culture, and he knew the culture, so it just made a good blend, and we killed it. We did
Right.
did lots of big things, big shows, and I mean, the names endless of all mainstream artists and everything, underground artists, whatever you can think of, we've done.
That's cool, man. What like what was your favorite part about all of that? Like, not necessarily, kind of more of the end goal. Like, what were you trying to position yourself after you kind of got your feet wet? Um, what do you
Yeah,
want to do?
the end goal for the music industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Or,
basically the end goal was for me to have my own team behind me with a major,
hmm.
and we weren't able to get that far yet, and so I kind of retired from it for a while because I knew I was going to need a lot of help,
Right.
and but I wanted to structure it as my own personal label connected to a major label, kind of like be independent but use their platform,
Right.
which we were doing, but we didn't have big enough team. We didn't have big enough income, so we had to cut them loose. So, but that's the way it goes. The cookie crumbles sometimes, and so we'll see what happens in the future. You never know. But that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have our own team, our own label connected to Universal. That was the goal. Almost got there.
Yeah, for sure.
Close.
With the transition, like with the music industry, like there's been a really big shift from like CDs to the digital world.
Hmm.
And I know that's taken away a lot of revenue, capital opportunities, um,
Yeah, it has.
from these artists. And it's definitely changed the dynamic. What's probably one of the bigger effects that you've seen that kind of, I guess, hinders artists, even in the digital age? Because don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things that can be leveraged in the digital age. Um, there's a lot of things that can be done, but like you're not selling albums, you're not selling physical albums anymore. I remember going to Virgin Records as a kid and the 90s wanting to get an album, listening to something on the headphones. Like you don't really do that anymore. Um, it's just been an interesting kind of transition that I've got to witness myself. But obviously, you were probably stepping into that world by then,
Yeah.
or even thinking about it when I was just, listening to music. But the dynamics completely changed.
Yeah, then you only get paid. You probably know this, but I think it's 3/10 of a cent or whatever per song, per stream. I mean,
Three
so like
tenths.
yeah, like
Is it
zero
tiered?
0.0003 is what you get paid per stream.
Damn.
Yeah, and think about it back in the days when we used to do CDs and we used to buy them, they were $10. And if
Yeah.
you don't have somebody that knows what they're doing with that music on Spotify, Apple, wherever, I mean, dude, you're not gonna make a dime,
Yeah.
literally.
And that transition doesn't even make sense. So even let's to keep the math simple, you have 10 songs on a CD, you sell it for $10, that's $1 a song. Whenever you go from that to, 0.0003
Yeah,
cents per stream or per play, that just doesn't add up at all.
no,
Um, is it the is that with Spotify, only Spotify? Is that only
yeah,
YouTube?
they're different. They're different, but very similar. Like some have a little bit
Gotcha.
more, and some have a little bit more. I mean, but it's not nothing to brag about. Like what I
Right.
mean. So yeah, it's not good. They've taken that whole part of the artist making money. Well, because the record labels are in with the platforms.
Yep. Yep. And they all kind of own each other also, I'm sure.
There you go.
They have
Back.
shares with each other, so it's like taking money out of your left pocket, putting it into your right pocket.
There you go.
It's
You got
it's
to
kind
figure
of
it out.
yeah, it's kind of like BlackRock. They own
Hmm.
everything. They own everything on one aisle, it doesn't matter if you're buying a competitor shampoo or not. They're the majority owners of all those companies.
There you go. You
Yeah.
nailed it. And that's how. And the only way. And here's the deal. A lot of artists say, "Well, I need to be on the road making money." Dude, you know how much money you spend on the road? It's. I mean, this kind of sounds wild to say, but because in the music industry, no one would ever say this. But if you really break it down, it's so expensive to be on the road. Like even Russ said something. The artist Russ said, like, "Well, you should just stay home and sell merch and put music up all day." He said because it's so expensive, which I agree because that's why we never really went on the. Well, we went on the road, but it wasn't consistent because the money you're just doing this the entire time. You're just
Yep.
so
It's
when you
all
do,
marketing and all promotions.
yeah, it's another bill. And
Yep.
so if you can't fork out that bill in the music, with the tour, um, and then then you got to market the music online. I mean, dude, it's just like becomes a revolving. You have bills coming in all the time, and you just can't keep up. And so Russ was saying was like most artists should just stay at home now
Yeah.
and sell their merch on their website, right? And then sell their music online.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I mean, I thought it was kind of wild. I was like, man, because you're known, like if you're a good artist, you're supposed to be on tour. Like that's kind of like that's what you're supposed to do. But it's so expensive. Why do it? It's like another big ass bill.
Right. I mean, like this is just me thinking out loud, but if I was an artist, I would want to be at home doing nothing but making music and making social media and doing posts on every platform as much as possible, or even like just getting a social media marketer to do it for me. While I continue to create music, and they're just in the studio with me and recording me and stuff like that. That's just one person that you got to kind of leverage. And I think that, I mean, social media across all platforms is pretty much free advertisement.
That's right.
And you know that. It's just, yeah, the dynamics completely change.
Yeah, I mean, I did that, and that's how I got half my followings from the music industry.
Yeah.
Or
And
so that's how I kind of built my first half of my following up, doing what you're talking about. It's free, so just put it out there.
yeah. And part of the old hustle was grinding it out and selling your CDs on the streets or at events or
Yeah,
just
we did that.
walking.
Yeah, we did that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely part of the journey for sure,
Yeah,
man.
it's fun. I mean, the thing I liked most about it is I got to live out my childhood dreams.
Yeah.
I
I
really
mean,
did, and
they're
I
not done
actually was
yet.
a part of it. Like I was a part of it. Like getting MC Eiht, and I think that was my favorite personally because that I grew up watching that movie, and
Yep.
so here I am. What is that? 20 years something later, and I'm doing a deal with him, getting the song done for Smooth. 20 years later, I go from that my favorite hood movie to now I'm talking to him. We're negotiating on getting the song done. Crazy,
That's wild.
you know.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Me and Lamar talked about that a lot. We're like, man, I can't believe we came that far. Watching movies, our favorite hood movies, and now we're doing a deal with one. Like it's wild.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
What is that? You're obviously still pretty active in the music industry. But what are your next couple moves? Are you gonna keep pushing it or what are you thinking?
I don't know, man. I don't. The reason why I say I don't know is because, like I told you earlier, we're talking. I'm pretty much gonna probably retire from it. I'm thinking about it. I think
Yeah.
I've done as much as I can, I've done everything, and I'm tired of paying bills.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know what I mean? Like I don't. Those bills, they come in every 2 weeks. And then if you're not, if everything's not moving as fast as the bills are, then you're just forking out money.
Yeah.
It's just taking L's, L's, and L's and L's.
Yeah.
And I'm not into that shit. I'm not trying to be the Cleveland Browns over
That's funny.
here.
That's funny. Man,
Or the
I'm also
Detroit Lions, I should say. I don't know.
no, I mean the Browns is pretty good. Browns is pretty good. Are you a football fan?
Yeah, yeah.
Who do
I
you
like
like?
both. Huh?
Who do you like?
Okay, let's go. I'll say pro. I'll go. It's the Packers and the pros, and I kind of like the Raiders. And then college is OU and Nebraska. Those are my two college football teams.
Why Nebraska?
Just grew up watching OU Nebraska slug it out in the 80s and 90s.
Cool. So you just
And,
got
and
respect.
and I went to those games where OU was bad and they killed us by like 70 points.
Damn.
We had a bad 6 year run, but I just grew up watching OU and Nebraska for like I don't know what 30 years were the top two football teams in football
Hmm.
in college. So and I just kind of grown to really love both schools.
I've been to a couple of OU games. OU games are pretty cool. Whenever they do the Boomer Sooner thing, one
Yeah,
side says Boomer, the other side says Sooner.
yeah,
It's and you feel it in the stands of it rumbling, and people aren't jumping or anything, but they scream so loud that the stadium vibrates.
yeah.
Um, it's definitely in a pretty crazy college environment.
It really is a great football. It's a great football stadium school. I mean, it's
Town, yeah,
team
Norman,
town. Yeah, yeah. It's really great.
yeah, for sure. One of my this guy I went to high school with actually played there, and then he played at the Cowboys after. He was behind Witten, James Hanna. Not sure if he rings a bell or not.
Oh yeah, yeah. I do remember him.
Yeah, but uh he played at my high school. But he was in my class. I remember the first time I saw him, it was like maybe sophomore year whenever he got there. I want to say it was sophomore or junior because
Hmm.
he came from a private school, and this guy just walks in, balding more than I am right now, with like kind of a buzzed head, and I'm like, "Are you the new coach?" And no, he's a player. He's putting his stuff in the locker. He was a big dude. He was a big dude, and I'm over here I'm a corner. I played corner, strong safety, and a bunch of special teams. I was just quick, and I had a nice little pop with my boxing background. Anytime I got to play man, I got to hit people off the line with my hands, so that was always a pretty fun part for me.
Yeah,
But
you were used to that.
oh yeah, but yeah, it was football's awesome. OU was just incredible to go to. I haven't been to a lot of
Okay. Who do you like?
college
You
stadiums.
Cowboys, right?
Yeah,
Dallas?
Cowboys.
Yeah.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
I also used to like the Chargers because I was a Lindanian Tomlinson fan because he came out of
Yes, I liked him a
TCU.
lot. I love their
Yeah,
jerseys, dude.
yeah.
Their
Are you talking about
jerseys are
TCU
so
or
nice.
Chargers? Both, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, well, the Chargers. Yeah, Tomlinson was. I like him a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. Lindanian Tomlinson was so dope to watch. And then whenever he went to the Jets, I was kind of sad, but he did end up coming back, I think, and retiring with the Chargers. But
Yeah, he did.
um, he yeah, he was just an amazing athlete to watch, to go from college to the NFL for sure. um, but yeah, and then so after music and everything, you got into business acquisition or business
Mhm.
ownership, or what was your next move?
Yeah, pretty much. I was in a private equity firm, the Blue Collar Millionaires,
Hmm.
and I was kind of like a deal scout for them and for myself. I was looking for them and me, and I did that for 2 years. Some of their prominent name is Mark Evans, the deal maker. He's a pretty he's multimillionaire. Flies a jet, his own personal jet. So he was in our group, and we had a good group. And I was in there for 2 years. I'd bring deals to them. I would go over my deal that I liked or I thought I might not like. And so we did that for about 2 years. And so now I'm looking forward to networking with some more investors and some other groups and seeing if I can't help them and help myself as well. I'm looking for a business to buy between, I want to kind of do it big. So I'm trying probably around 2 million to 10 million range
For
is where
sure.
I want to buy at in a certain niche. So like that would be like landscaping, uh, I think, golly, I haven't named them off in a while. But landscaping is one. Oh, pest control. So landscaping, pest control. That's two businesses that I definitely look forward because it's repeatable business, and that
Right.
it's if you have a right team behind you, those things can get big. Like I was gonna hoping in this deal that I was doing with them, a pest control company. They wanted $500,000, and but they didn't want to sell the business, and they were doing 5 million at the time, and so they didn't want to give up control. They didn't want to sell, but they wanted me in with the company, and they said, well, if you put a down payment, be an investor, we'll give you a certain amount, but they didn't want to sell it. But so I backed out, but man, they sent me their quarterly reports 2 days ago, and dude, they're already at 6.2 million. These guys are rolling, so I'm pretty upset about that.
Are you gonna try and get back in that deal or what?
No, because they already got another investor to give them the
Got a
money.
good
That's
player. Good.
the reason why I didn't get in was because they didn't approve me of giving me the money for it. Because they were like, well, we want control, and they wouldn't give it up.
Yeah.
And so I was pretty disappointed in that because I was like, well, I said, okay, well, did you get the 500,000 that you wanted? And he was like, yep. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, that's what I figured.
Well, it sounds like he's still luckily found a good deal. It doesn't always work like that. But good for his growth, man. I'm
Yeah,
sure
he's killing it right now.
there might even be like another opportunity in the future, or definitely someone to keep in touch with.
Yeah, and I know
With
that.
whenever you're looking for a company to purchase, what are like the first couple things that you want to look at or look for, because it's not
Management.
management, yeah,
Yeah,
culture,
if they don't have any management, meaning like if they don't have a GM, a sales team, a secretary that's answering phone.
yeah,
If you're really good at it, like if you have major experience, long term experience, and and you're a person that's built multiple businesses, okay, you might do that. If you don't have management, you might buy that company because you can go in there and build it up and build it up and sell it, do whatever you want with it.
right,
But someone like me, where I don't have experience in taking a company and putting everybody in place and then building it at the same time, to me, that's hard because
for
finding
sure,
people to do the job right is hard. So I look at it like, okay, how long have these people been here, and how many, do they have a GM, a president, sales team, secretary? and how long have they been there. That's how I looked at it right out of the gate. Like, and that's what I kind of got criticized for. I would just kick deals as soon as it looked hard. I was like, no, because there are businesses out there that sell all the time that are set up perfectly, and that's
Mhm.
what me being an over analyst, that's what I'm looking for. So it's just
Right.
management. If your management is set in place and they've been there a long time, I'll give it all I got to try to get that done.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's having having that business continuity post acquisition is a really,
It's
that's the only
everything.
thing that makes the acquisition worth it. Um, unless it's like an asset purchase, but even then, business continuity still has to be there, or else it's not really going to be, the value isn't going to be there as much.
Yeah.
Um, so culture management, just pretty much be able to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah.
Um, there's
Oh, hold on one sec.
yeah, yeah,
Get this door.
good.
I'm on the phone. What's going on? You need to come back here? No, I'm on the phone. Okay, I'm back. All right, my bad. I had an interruption. Um, good time for a water break.
Are you drinking a gallon a day right now, or
Yeah,
like half a
yeah,
gallon?
yeah. I keep right about a gallon.
Are you, whenever you work out, do you sweat a lot?
Yes.
Because I don't know how heavy your cardio is. Because I know we kind of talked about your heart rate. That keeping it at that level is pretty. I kind of want you to explain it yourself, because it's good. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, basically what I've learned is that your heart rate when you burn the when the body fat burns off of the body, your heart rate's got to be at a certain level. So you can sweat, but really all your like if you don't make it to that level, like mine has to be at 119 at my age. Now every age bracket's different. So like yours might be 115. I think yours probably about 116. Well, mine's got to be at 119. So if I can get to that 119 and hold it there for 30 minutes, I'm burning fat the whole 30 minutes.
Yep.
Um, what a lot of people do is they just go in there and they walk and jog and they don't get it up high enough and they don't
Hmm.
burn enough body. You know, you see a lot of people on the treadmill sometimes and they never really, body never really ever changes.
Yeah.
It's because they're either doing two things. They're not eating right or they
That
don't have their heart rate or they don't have their heart rate up enough to burn fat. One of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diet's a really big piece. I've come across a lot of people that were just like, oh, I've tried everything, done everything, and I haven't lost weight, gained muscle, whatever. And I just, it's super, super rare for someone to have like a serious medical condition that would allow them to not lose fat and also not gain muscle. Um, it's but yeah, it's pretty rare. But
I do, and to answer your question, I do sweat a lot, but I will say I sweat more sometimes different on different days. Like Monday, I might not sweat at all, but on Wednesday, I'm sweating like crazy, and Friday, I'm sweating like crazy. Or it
yeah,
might be one day, Wednesday, I'm just pouring, and then Friday, I don't sweat that much. It's hard to explain. And
yeah.
sometimes that might be water retention. I don't know.
Um, maybe something to do with that.
Yeah.
But dude, everyone's body is completely different. I've learned that all these fitness people that say you need to do this, this, and this in order to get this result. For the most part, it's usually just, it all depends on your body. Everyone's completely different. But I mean, what it really comes down to is diet and being consistent in whatever
Yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah.
Um, Diet is a really big piece of it. I was overweight for me,
A
because
boxer? You're
yeah,
overweight?
I was overweight. I was at 195, 26% body fat, and I got a picture of it.
Okay. Okay.
And it was, yeah, I was like fucking miserable. I was actually on a little vegan diet. Um, and like probably 80% of my diet was vegan. It was just because my ex-fiance at the time was also was a vegan, so that's just kind of how that worked. But you wouldn't think, being on a healthy vegan diet, quote unquote healthy vegan diet, that you wouldn't gain as much weight, but it's definitely possible.
Wow.
Um, it's
Didn't know that. You look pretty
yeah.
slim right now, lean right now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're definitely putting into work right now, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. My since it's maybe been about a year and a half, I've been back. I started back doing yoga, just to start getting my ligaments and everything back because I've had plenty of injuries. And then I started doing treadmill work, and then I turned it to the highest incline. Once I kind of surpassed that, I got a weighted vest and just I do the highest incline with the weighted vest. And then around Christmas time, we got a stairmaster at the apartment gym here, and I've
Yeah,
been using that as my warm up with the
that
weighted
gets it
vest.
done. That
Yeah,
gets it done. It's the only thing I've ever used on
yeah,
cardio machines, Stairmaster.
yeah.
It's worked for me. I mean, at one time 4 years ago, I was at like 28% body fat, but now I'm like at 11.
Good for you. Good for
So
you.
yeah,
Yeah,
it worked.
yeah. The stairmaster is awesome, man. I felt after maybe doing it about 2 months, I felt my knees getting a whole lot better because they were just old, just worn out, is more of the term. Same thing with my shoulders. I recently started boxing again. I started or at least doing more boxing workouts, hitting the bag and stuff. Um, and I've had tendonitis and bursitis in both my shoulders, so I'm
Oh
not trying to
wow.
like push it too hard. But it's been good. It's been a good little comeback. I feel good. Um, and obviously, it feels good to look good whenever you wake up. You kind of just remember the foundation that you've created for yourself whenever you look in the mirror. Um, it's uh, it's a good feeling whenever you're taking care of yourself. It's definitely got its good moments. Of course, you're going to have your bad moments. It's all whenever you're trying to take care of yourself at that level, you're going to have your mental battles for sure, because it's a standard that you're really holding for yourself. But yeah, definitely full of its ups and downs. Um,
Yeah, you're doing really well. We
Thanks.
both are. We're both doing well on
Yeah, for
fitness
sure.
journey, and your this whole podcast you got going on with everything. I mean, it's going. By the way, we got to talk about a little bit about that social media.
Which part?
Well, on how we were talking about not to be boring.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. So, man, a lot of people are scared to say what they think.
Yeah, dude, it's like an epidemic, dude.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
really bad. And the reason why I'm so kind of out there and I don't give a shit is because I held a lot of things in for a long, long time. I did what everyone else did for a long time, and I just decided, no, I said that's not how life's supposed to be. Holding everything to the vest, and you can't tell your opinion. I just started spouting off,
yeah,
and I took with everything I knew and seen with my own eyes, and I posted.
yeah. Um, it's the same. It's the same with me. I post a lot of stuff that I wish I posted, 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Just previous, um, experience with management, with business, with life, with women, with whatever.
Exactly.
There's just a lot that can be shared, and a lot you can make fun of yourself for, and you can make
Absolutely.
fun of other people, but you just better be able to take it.
That's right. And that's what I
But
do. I do all that as well as you do. I
yeah, for
like it.
sure.
I love it.
I th- I think a lot of it, whenever it comes down to it, I think public humiliation is a really big piece, and people are scared and terrified of public humiliation. They think that people are going to judge them or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and dude, honestly, whenever I was in high school, I never really talk about this much, but I was humiliated for a long time in my mind, whenever I was in high school because I didn't have enough clothes. So whenever I went to school, I wore a set of clothes. Went to football, wore a different set of clothes. Went to boxing after, had a different set of clothes. Came home, took a shower, had a different set of clothes. So I needed 4 pairs of clothes every single day pretty much. And I didn't have that. So I went to school smelling like shit most of the time.
Yeah.
I was the smelly kid sometimes. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
nobody really said much to me. Everyone was kind of respectable. But yeah, that's just it's just shit you go through.
Yeah. I just think we're both on our way to big things.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really
for
do. I
sure.
like what you're doing with the podcast. I like your, I like how you don't hold back online. But you keep it business as well. You know,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
good too. And that's good. I think that's what way everyone should be, to be honest with you, because a
yeah.
lot of people hold back. And and honestly, a lot of them deals in business acquisition that came across my plate was me just online talking about it.
Hmm.
Like I wasn't even like doing anything. Well, I just said, "Hey, looking for this." Boom, here comes two owners. Like
Right,
that's all you have to do. It's not really hard. We're rocket scientists, and a lot of people are scared to even do that.
right. And it's not like you have to be the super master number one person in that arena to talk
That's
like you're
right.
knowledgeable about it. You don't have
Yeah.
to have a degree to talk like you're knowledgeable about something. Um, I mean, I didn't get a degree until I was in my early 30s. I finally got it whenever I was 31. And before then, I didn't have a piece of paper that proved my knowledge. There's so much research and stuff out there, and it's utilized all the time, especially because college and stuff like that, education and stuff is expensive. Um,
Yeah, you ain't lying. Overpriced.
yeah, that's for sure. Um, we'll see what happens with the student debt whenever whenever Trump gets into office.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's been a huge mess. With that debt that just sits there, who do you think is managing it? Because it's not debt companies, it's not those
Dude, I
student.
don't really even know. Like I'm
It's
skeptical. I'm skeptical of everything. I don't
yeah,
have a clue.
yeah. It's not those student loan companies that are managing it because they're out of business. They
Yeah.
every almost every single one of them closed down. How are they going to collect on it?
There you go.
And
That's what
like
I'm saying. Like I don't know what's going to happen.
even once it ramps back up, I doubt they'll even be able to collect on it like as efficiently as possible, and it's going to take a long time to fix because they just turned everything off. And I mean, I get it. It's part of the COVID relief, but to an extent, I mean, what else are you going to do? Um, I just those companies shut down. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens for sure. But anyway, social media, man. There's been a handful of things. So my social media experience has been pretty interesting. Um, Before I started my health insurance agency, I started my health insurance agency 3 years ago. Before then, I never talked about business really on Facebook. I just made some motivational post here and there, and then was immature the rest of the time. Um, so when I came back to Facebook and I made it a couple posts about health insurance, nobody said anything, nobody did anything. Obviously, my marketing was probably bad, but my crowd was still the same one from high school. So I ended up deleting everybody except for about 3 or 400 that I wanted to make sure I kept in touch with, just because maybe they were there from like elementary school or something.
Hmm.
And then what I did after that to kind of start boosting my network, I went into a lot of Facebook groups. And then under groups, you can see the list of all the members. And all members, they have a category where it says people who are me.
Breaking
So
up. There we go.
can you, let me
Can you hear me?
see. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
hear
breaking up a little bit. We're about at the hour mark.
you.
We've been running our mouths.
Yeah, we haven't even talked too much. It doesn't feel like.
I know. We'll have to do a part two, right?
Part two for sure. Part two for sure. Um, with man, what was I saying?
Um,
All good.
I forgot.
Um, yeah, but
What's your name? I was kidding. I
uh,
forgot completely what we were
John.
talking about.
No, student loans,
Yeah,
business. Oh, growing my social media.
yeah,
So after I deleted all those people,
yeah,
I went to members in Facebook groups, and then there's a little section that says members near me, and you obviously can see that obviously. I mean, those are less likely going to be those scam profiles from overseas and stuff like that. And then obviously, if it says CEO, founder, owner, stuff like that, I would add them. And then from there, I started
yeah,
posting more business related stuff, stuff that they could relate to. And then that starts getting them interacting with me, starts creating my my brand
yeah,
of I talk about business. Um, and that's how I want to be seen. That's pretty much what I do every single day.
yeah,
And that's what I do with almost every single one of my conversations. I only have three, maybe four friends in my life that I am not in business with. Um, and that's it. Uh, the rest I'm in business with somehow, whether I'm networking with them, I know them from the business or something like that. So I got rid of a whole bunch of friends a long time ago. Probably in my late teens, definitely in my early 20s. But that's just you really have to shed the fat and reinvent yourself into what you want to become.
yeah,
And kind of doing that with my social media was pretty much what I've been doing the last 10 years is getting rid of people that don't necessarily contribute to the long-term goal. That doesn't mean that I don't ever want to talk to them again. It's just that I don't have time to give them. Time is precious. It's the only thing that's not being created anymore. That's why all these billionaires are spending so much money on trying to live longer. But
yeah. That's so true.
um, yeah, I only have time to talk to people who want to grow. I don't like being around people who are mediocre
Yeah,
or want to stay mediocre. Um, like for example, this is definitely a hot topic, but I wouldn't want to date a person who was out of shape. And that's because I want to live quite a bit longer. I don't want someone to not take care of themselves to blatantly break down their own body. And it's
yeah,
people are just unaware of what they're doing because they aren't invested in themselves.
that's right.
They don't see the gym as one of the greatest investments possible. You're paying less than $100 a month, less than 200 if you're going to an expensive gym. I mean, and for that entire month, you have one-on-one time with yourself, your own mental game to figure out things to do differently, or maybe at that same time, you only designate networking calls or something while you're working out. I mean, there's just there's a lot of different avenues for growth. And if someone isn't trying to grow, it's just you're stagnant. um, you're static, and it's hard for me to stay motivated, stay relatable to someone who is static. Um, that's just kind of what it is. Um,
I think that's a great approach. I think it's
um,
great. That's a great breakdown.
yeah,
Great
I
breakdown.
appre I
That's how I.
appreciate it.
That's how I live too.
It's a lonely life, man.
It
It's
really is.
it
It
it,
really
it
is.
definitely gets lonely sometimes. That's one of the reasons why I like networking. I like building communities and stuff like that, like the Facebook group. It's somewhere to always return to because you have all these small businesses, all these other people who are also on that same journey of not necessarily always being lonely, but you always have a community to come back to. It's a good feeling
Yeah,
to post something and know you'll get help.
That's right.
to talk to someone and know that if they don't know, they'll try and figure it out. Um, it's like a community of go-getters. It's
That's
kind of
right.
the idea.
Yeah.
But man, I know we're creeping up on an hour.
Yeah. Let's save for part two.
Yeah, for sure, for
Because
sure. There,
we can do it again. Probably do even more, do better.
yeah, right.
Because I didn't
I'll get,
share everything. I just kind of kept it because I knew we weren't going to be on here too long. I just kind of kept it all like real short and sweet. I really didn't
cool.
get into too much details, so we got more content coming. If
Yeah.
we want to do it again.
Oh yeah, for sure. And maybe you can come down here. We'll get you in the studio, or maybe there's a studio up in OKC that we can rent out
That would
and
be
record
great.
there.
That would be great.
But we'll definitely have to figure that out soon. But
Absolutely. We'll do
but
it. We'll do it.
hell yeah, and then we'll go to a game.
Absolutely.
Well, we can wear Mavs jersey. You can wear your Oklahoma City jersey on the podcast, and then go to the game after. That'd be fun.
Because I think October.
Yeah,
October is when preseason starts, and so we can catch a game in November or something.
yeah,
I'll come down there. Maybe you can come up here, whatever.
yeah. We'll figure it out, man.
Yeah,
But man, pleasure having you on. I
I'm glad
definitely
I got to
wanted.
be on.
I want to make sure that you get plugged in here, man.
Yeah,
Give everyone your contact information, things you're looking for, people you're trying to connect with, um, where your channels are. You want people to reach you on your phone number here, shoot you a
yeah,
text.
yeah. Just shoot me a text. I'm looking for investors and businesses to buy. So that range probably is going to be around. I'll say $1 to $6 million, or a little bit more, $1 to $10 million. You can text me if you're an investor or you're looking to sell your business in Oklahoma City. Now I'm looking for investors worldwide, wherever, but I like to try to keep the business I'm looking for to buy in this area, in the Texas to Oklahoma area.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you want so your number is 405-820 or
Me too.
820-9593.
9593. Mm-hmm.
And do you have an email or anything you want people to reach out to you, or just go straight
I
to
would
your
just
phone
say
number?
DM me on Facebook at Rodney Rockwell.
Cool.
You can DM me on there, Rodney Rockwell, and I got a tank on, and white tank, and so just DM me on there.
For sure, man. For sure. That's awesome. Well, great having you on. I'm definitely looking forward to part two, man.
Yeah,
This
we're gonna
is
have fun. And send me those reels when you're done with this.
yeah, for sure.
Okay,
For
because
sure I
I'm gonna
will.
blow them up.
Yeah, we will. We will. Man, good talking to you. I'll chat with you later, man.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you.